It's on. Looks like I'm probably going to get about an hour of this. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Hello. Welcome to the party, everybody. So, I was rambling yesterday about how I'm leaving in, what is it now, the 7th? 20 days. 20 days, so 3 weeks. And needing to have all my stuff in order beforehand and having actual content out there beforehand and having things sort of in a good working order beforehand. And so this is partly that. I can pluck out a few things to post onto the TikTok while I'm away, straight from these lives, which is fantastic. TikTok's live service is absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot get over how much of an improvement it is from what I was dealing with on Facebook. I miss the good old days when I had enough PC power that I could actually run a Streamlabs system and show everything and display everything the way I want to, but for just standalone on the phone, what TikTok Live does through the phone app, is just perfect, just phenomenal. Excellent. Quick and easy day. So I've got an hour maybe. I got to go do a house clean at some point later on here, so I figured I'd pop on. I do have a deck, but my random draw of cards ended up with the Heart of Fairies, and these cards are slightly mouthier and crankier than most of my other decks, so approach at your own risk. Totally approach at your own risk. And I was going to sit here and work on my energy readings and work on my plans and just have ready to go. Sainty diving in for it hard. Okay, fine. Oh, Sainty. The rocks is the imagery that we're going to be delivering to you. The rocks is a matter of war, conflict, difficulties. Have things been given up on? No, probably not. But the nature of what's there isn't necessarily, would I define it as necessarily positive? It's undertones of war, conflict, power, trying to be the superior force, the superior energy, the superior might. That's not really a connection type that most people want to tolerate. Some of us really enjoy the prey and predator kind of games, but at the core of it, that's what this rocks conflict is usually about. Somebody has something, somebody else wants it, and they're doing what they can to try and take from one another. So is the connection gone? No, the war's still going on. Best of luck with that war, and make sure that you're not putting out any resources or energies that you don't want to lose. You don't want to risk having something taken away from you, trying to engage in a never-ending conflict that one just cannot win. Good luck on that one, Sainty. Never like when conflict ends up around some things. Good morning, Anna. Hope you're having a phenomenal day so far. Conflict energy it's one of the weirder ones, one of the weirder pattern forms to have to try and parse out and figure out, because it's entirely rooted in desire and want. I have to take this from you by force or power, and because you have it, and I deem myself more powerful than you, I will take it from you. And as societies got bigger and larger, we stopped making it all about how we can beat the other person for the scrap of food, instead making about how we could barter, bargain, trade, or exchange in some other manner. And the pros of it, there's systems, we now have other tools that can allow us a better way of making trade happen and making things exchange hands. The downside to it, underneath all of it, there's still that knowledge that most people have that they can use power to get what they want more easily and more readily than others. And truthfully, if you're a subscriber to the natural force of things, then you're not really going to care what people offer you in trade, because trades are insignificant, trades are irrelevant. I can take it by force. And you don't want to get yourself locked into a pattern there and ultimately become the fish that gets hunted, because you are the biggest prize now to take. Conflict attracts more conflict. Being on top of it all, the strongest and biggest target makes you the biggest target. Hi, beautiful. Good morning. Ziffo, I could probably get you that. I'm going to draw that extra question for a Sainty before they have to carry on for the day. Because the first card that came up was the Crone, and we're not going to play with that. But it's not super positive, right? Like, you got to find a way to have some sense of humor around it. The Queen of Laughter indicating, let's flip that around so you guys can read those cards, actually. Just realized. The Queen of Laughter indicating, that's not the flip I wanted. Mirror. Queen of Laughter indicating that you have to make sure that you're lighthearted and easygoing with it if you're going to actually make it through. Point of the matter is this whole situation is one that it's playing more of shadow and manipulation in games, and it might not be necessarily what you want to keep playing. Development-wise, it's not going to bring you a bigger you or a better you. If anything, it's going to rob a little bit of the joyous character that you should have. Your inner child may not necessarily be a big fan of this connection. You need to stop and consider what your inner child wants you to think about that. Ziffo, the dream I had last night mean what I think it means. Let's see what we got. Abundance is a wonderful thing. And like when the dream connects to the idea that you're going to receive all the things that you believe that you are due, absolutely it's a wonderful tone. But dreams are interpretive. Dreams are representative. The Queen of the Golden Bough has wealth, but the wealth is all tied up in the appearances of wealth. It's not fluid wealth. It's not disposable wealth. So it means something like what you think it means, but the delivery of it might not be exactly to the tone or way that you're hoping for. I'd be really careful getting overinflated desires, hopes, and dreams based on what the dream has provided. Keep it within the realistic, keep it within the realm of what's expectable, and everything should come out just fine. The subtext on it being the question, that's usually, it is, but is it? And can you see the danger in the good, the danger in the positive, the danger to the moment over and on top of what you're actually seeing? So yes, but not quite the way you think it is. Yes, but not quite in the language that you think it is. Yes, but not quite to the extreme that you think it is. Good luck, Ziffa. Yeah, beautiful. We'll get you a card. We'll get you a card. No worries, Sainty. Come hang out anytime. I'm always around. If you ever got questions, just shoot me a message. I live to serve. I serve to live. No worries, Zifu. Very happy to be back. Thanks for the gift, Jazzy J. So, beautiful. You want a card. Let's get you a card. Shayna, you're on deck. Beautiful. Beautiful, you're coming up with the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer in a mood of the Lady of Faith. Sorcerers are a bit of a painful concept in the Feywild side, because a sorcerer isn't necessarily a student of magic, they're more a thief of magic. They've taken this energy from something else and they're applying it through their form and they're applying it through their nature. Now, nobody ever wants to admit when they're doing sorcery, but everybody does sorcery. We are within a communal society, and through that community, people share their gifts, other people take of those gifts and use it and apply it in a certain format. So, the key is to be an ethical sorcerer. The key is to be a moral sorcerer. We don't just take something by force where possible, and when we are operating with our energy, we're respectful of the exchange that's supposed to happen there. That exchange, beautiful, is what I'm most worried about for you. Someone doesn't respect the nature of the trade. Somebody doesn't respect the nature of ownership. And in that capacity, they're trying to make it more about what they are entitled to, but they're not. They create and fabricate the idea that you have to give over this format, you have to give over this energy, you have to just follow the faith and be true to what you're supposed to do. And maybe it's a religious figure, maybe it's a different kind of ideology. Like a corporate ideology is really more of a cult than we want to admit. And one has to be really mindful that they're not letting people just rob their power for their own benefit. When you submit a proposal and somebody else puts their name on it, that's theft. whether we want to admit it or not. And so challenge those people that are trying to steal from you. Don't let them rob you of what you are due, and don't let them take what is yours and make it theirs. Above all else, you have to be true to yourself. Faith, religion, ideology, corporate loyalties, all those other things are secondary to loyalty to yourself. Always make sure that you're putting your energy, your power there first. Good luck, beautiful. Shayna, does a kill really have feelings for me? We'll have some fun with that one. Shayna. So this deck has 3 cards that I absolutely adore. Yin Yang and Chaos, I call them, or Order, Disorder, and Manic Panic. There's a lot of ways we could go about it. Truthfully, Shayna, truthfully, when we're working with an energy like this, one that is just a ruckus of fun guys out having a time, you know it's really probably danger zone. Really probably not what any of us want to make of it and work with it the way we want to. You ask about feelings. Yes, there's some kind of feelings like it's a party, it's a good time, it's a good flow, it's a good go. And if somebody stuck in their intoxication of what you are, believing you to be some drug to get them high and get them encouraged and risen to a new level, that's caca bullshit. You are not there to be somebody else's fun time experience. And so feelings, yes, but they're not necessarily what I would call romantic feelings. I would call them distortion, belief, obsession, fascination. Temporary fascination though, maybe. And that's always the trick. You don't want it to be lost to a temporary fascination. Good luck with that one, Shayna. We got 3 more coming on in. Kyla, Yippee, and Jazzy J. I would. Like, when they're not changing after 6 months, if a person's an asshole to you during the spring, an asshole during the summer, they're probably going to be an asshole in the fall. And realistically, we all like to wait around to see if people will change, but we don't all necessarily set a time frame for people to change. So I say 6 months. 3 months, after 3 months, if it is the same pattern, then the next 3 months are going to be the same. And what's the point of me sticking around for that? You can try and push the change, demand the conversation, demand the commitments, and demand the trackable measures that will prove that a change is happening. But they've got to be genuine about it. And if you're pushing them to it, how are they being genuine? It's got to be their choice to actually become that better form and better evolution of themselves. So, like, if you're here for a manic dance party, go nuts, have fun, enjoy yourself. But if you're here for something that's committed and steadfast, yeah, no, this ain't it. Kyla, should I go back to my ex? How long have you guys been apart, would be my first question. And what is it that you're going back for? Are you going back for the person? Are you going back for the sex? Are you going back for the lifestyle? What is it specifically that you crave or desire or would want from that reconnection? The nice thing about exes is we've got a baseline of who they might be. People don't change a lot. If they do, then they're chameleons and they're dangerous. People should show some amount of consistency in their habits and their patterns. They should grow, evolve, upgrade to new understandings, new demonstrations, and new capacities over a set period of time. But ultimately, that's all in the same vein of who they are at their core. So there's something there that you're looking for that's familiar. Something there that is easily connected with. The shadow of the past making it the prominent reflection that you have when you think about this ex. But it's a mood of the fairy of naughtiness. Your reason for it isn't so much about what you guys can do together with it. It's about how you can receive something out of it. Is that really the magnet that's going to draw you in? Is that really going to be the piece that's going to attract you back into that person, back to that energy, and back to that form? Be careful with that. If it's frivolous, I wouldn't do it. If it's just because you need that familiar connection, I wouldn't make a commitment of it. If it's entirely just for you and not for a relationship, then it's not really going to be a positive flow. Yippee asking about their night tonight. I know, guys, I know. The mood is the oh no. Like, you're playing with fire, you're playing with chaos tonight, you're doing things in a way that generates something, but is it, it's chaos, it's bullshit, and it's nonsense, whatever, we'll have some fun with it. The fixer, being your top end card, Yippee, means that you have to be in control of the dice. You have to fix the game to make sure that you're getting things the way you want them to be. If you go to a craps table with loaded dice, you know what's going to come up every time you roll those dice, and so you need to be at the table in control and in power in that moment. Load the damn dice. The roulette table, use a magnet on the ball. At the blackjack table, count cards. Whatever you're doing and however you're playing, make sure you're aware, awake, and keeping keen on what's happening in front of you. If you let your focus become distracted, then you're going to have the game played against you, and it's going to be bad news bears all around. Because it may be you out looking for that kind of enjoyable fun time, but there's the others that are out looking for that chaos as well too. And that's just the normal Friday night buzz, honestly, if you ask me. You can see it in the people that are out every weekend. They know exactly how to move through the crowd, move through the energy, and have fun with the game that's at hand. Everybody else, sightseers, they're just there for some reason that night, and they're there for us to play with. And that's the way it is. The locals, the frequent customers, frequent flyers, the familiar faces versus the chaotic ones. Good luck. Set it up the way you want to be. If you want to go dancing, go dancing. Don't let anyone drag you elsewhere. You want to go to a show, you go to a show. You want to go to a club, you go to a club. But you fix the dice and set it up the way it needs to be. Julitza, will Mario and I be romantically involved again in the future? Also, Shadows of the Past coming up. In your case, it's the realm of the challenge. The challenge makes the nature of this one more like there's still the familiar. There's still, you're going for something familiar, something common, something that's expected. But with the challenge being the anthem of it, now we're talking about having to go like rescue somebody. Now we're talking about recovery from alcoholism. We're talking pulling out from bad debt, depressions, toxic situations, distracting other lovers and things of that sort. So where in the previous one it was about making sure that you're doing it for ethical reasons, in this case, are you trying to be the hero? Are you trying to rescue them? Are you trying to save them? Are you trying to bring them out of the place that they were in and back to the place that they were from? Because if so, you might, but you're up for the long hill battle of them rediscovering who they are now and not who they were before. You also will have to go through that understanding that who they are now is never going to be the same as who they were before, and those elements will change and grow over time. If what they've developed into is something that you don't like and can't abide by, you're trying to change them into something back of what they were, then you're trying to stop their progress, you're trying to stop their growth. That is one of the big problems with ex relationships. I remember who you were and I just want to be with that old person again. But that old person died when you guys broke up. Who they are now is a new incarnation and development of themselves. You got to be able to meet them on that level and actually go to them at that stage. Be honest about your reasonings for going into it. Be honest about why that part of your past becomes so prevalent and so prominent and so powerful. And don't put yourself in a bad spot with it as much as you can, because there's always a danger that in doing so, you make it about your dreams of somebody and not their own expression. Free will is sacred. You got to be about sort of what they are trying to seek and become for themselves. Good luck. Taylor K. Hi, Taylor K. I think she's talking about me, but I don't know for sure. Saw them pop in earlier. I don't think I saw a picture. They were commenting on that. Okay. Cool. Hi, Taylor K. Welcome to the show. That's all the requests. We're good. And I'm back to working on my energy stuff now. Tanya May. And I saw a rabbit sneak in there at some point as well, too. Hi, rabbit. Oh. A little more all over the place today, because honestly, I should be doing more of the posts and pre-posts, but what? I didn't do it. I see today 333. It's Good Friday. It's a chaotic Friday though. But what do you want? Like, Jay, what is it that you want? What is it that you seek out of the relationship? We all go into relationships because we're desiring something. For some people, it's the baseline of companionship. For other people, it's the family building, estate building, legacy building, and all those other things with it. And some of us just like to get down and dirty and fuck frequently. And so we're looking for the frequent flyer. We're looking for something in all of our relationships and all of our flows. Okay, so we're clear, guys. So we're clear. I am in a monogamous relationship, but I am polyamorous. So the all of the above concept to me doesn't exist. There is no one person that is going to be your family and your friend and your best fuck and your best coworker and all of the things. To find that is not a random chance thing. It's a built, developed, and committed to thing. And I'm not saying that that can't be developed, but I am saying in the general flow of day-to-day life, you're not going to bump into a twin flame that has it all together and is going to be the perfect love partner. That catalytic effect doesn't occur. Not typically. And so to try and shoot for the 1 in 20 billion when the odds are against you and that there's not even 20 billion samples available breaks that game. And I know the all of the above concept. We want the perfect partner and we want the perfect flow. I know it's imperative to some people, but it creates this pedestal that you then place your partners upon. They become this fixation, this obsession, this ruling object. Your own free will then becomes submitted to them. And if that is the general flow of a person, then so be it, all the power to you. But counterpoint, I think more of us are actually pansexual and polyamorous than we want to admit, but the refinement of going to one committed relationship and the fairyland tailing of it all has created it so it's our customary norm. It's what we most commonly seek. Another example of this is the fact that in the English language, love has one word, love. Whereas most other languages, love has 50 or 60 different words depending on what category of love we're talking about. Love between family members, love between siblings, love between coworkers, love for your nation, love for your sexual partner, love for your wife. They all get their own development, their own phrasing, their own conceptualization. It's mostly only in English that you see that reduced to just love as one all-powerful thing. So, truth, simple matter is, if you're looking to make one perfect love out of something, you're creating an expectation that may never be met because it is almost impossible, and you're not going to get past us. High on the run. No, never any hate as much as possible. So, category-wise, I am a meat popsicle, and if you know where that quote is from, then right on. That's what I'm shooting for. If you don't know where the quote's from, it's Fifth Element, and it's just trying to save the day. I'm probably pansexual, but I usually end up presenting as cisgendered. Masculine format, feminine-minded, trying very hard to find the perfect balance in between. I am the disembodied enchantment of a dead guardian and an angry lich trying really hard to create a love child that can save the world somehow. And when I figure out how a paladin and a lich are boning, I will let you know. But in the here and now, I am just a confused meat popsicle. I'm not here for a long time. I get to die. That is a guarantee. That is a promise in my life that I will die. And so getting too hung up on the identification of what's going to die has fallen to the wayside a little bit over the years. And being able to simply just be what I am. And That's why I stick with the Lopic name whenever I'm at festivals or doing my tarot work, because at the core of it, Lopic, the idea of unquenchable hope, the cosmic thief that wants to take fire from one and provide it to the other, the transition through whatever means might be necessary. That's what I specify or identify as. And underneath it all, there's a number of biological, genetic, and other variations that could be applied to me in that format. And on those specifically, I'll answer directly, sure. But I'm just a confused meat popsicle. You sums me up way better than anything else. Thanks for asking, though. Appreciate that. I came up in the period of the otherkin, late 90s, early 2000s, where it was identification mostly with mythical animals, creatures, and entities. And my young adult identification was very much chameleon, trying to find proper identity, proper source. And I do think the quest for individuality right now stems a little bit to the afterthoughts of that experiment. We're all trying to find a way that we can identify ourselves to others. And it's so that we can feel understood and connected with. I don't think many of us get fully understood in our lifetime. That's sort of the curse of life. I hate that it's got a limit on characters. Makes it hard sometimes to see the whole message. I'm a disembodied floating consciousness attached to this body and stuck with it until I fucking get out of it, so, yeah. And if I'm wrong about all of it, then on the plus side, I won't need to suffer any of it. If I'm not wrong, well, there'll be a very nice lecture about the cavalierness with which I approach it sometimes, because you gotta still be respectful of the experiment. It's tricky. Talking to anybody's tricky, to be honest, because we communicate with intention. There's something that we want to express. There's something that we want to share. There's something that we want to collect. And so when talking and dealing with anybody, when engaging with somebody, first question is always, what is your undertone of intention? And this is me very much in my childhood and teenage years, if you're talking to the pretty ladies because you want the pretty ladies to see you and be interested in you and connect with you, that's fair. But the intention isn't to give something in communication to the ladies. It's for them to respond to you in some way. Responses can be requested, but they can never be demanded. And that's where disappointment can sometimes take the reign. And young me, I've been this cray-cray for a very long time. So just imagine me in high school. I was a shit show, literally. And so the end and outcome of it is you're going to get rejections, you're going to get pushback, you're going to get things that don't quite work. The initial intention with that is to always say, well, they are at fault for rejecting me because I know I'm awesome. And you are awesome. You are awesome. But they are also allowed that power of rejection. Accepting into their space or rejecting from their space is every individual's right. It's one of the feminine qualities that a lot of men have forgotten about in our modern day and age, because the feminine power controls the field, it controls the space, it controls the area. As such, when you're dealing with a rejection from space, you have to find a means of understanding why that rejection is occurring and find that balance of acceptance with it. That's funny, Rabbit. I was half thinking about drawing a card for him, but, I like your way of dealing with hecklers, too. Inward process is tricky. Remember, I went with chameleon for a number of years, almost a decade, trying to identify it. And I had some elaborate stories for my personal identity as a teenager and as a child. I was from the space station at the age of 4. It was nuts. And all of it is intrinsic to the truth of who I am. The fascinations of myself are core principles to myself. But what my brain interprets as there is a station that guides and supports and protects the solar system, orbiting around Moon Europa, and providing support here from certain energy forms, specifically the alien Selenats. That's ultimately coming down to an adult perspective understanding of what I am is a construct of universal consciousness that is working within the solar system to reinforce it and protect it from outside excursion. The outside excursion being that which takes us away from the natural state and beauty of humanity and provides instead a servitude. Humans are fun little experiments. This universe is entirely experimental. And what would be seen as an old soul is just somebody that has been around a few times, worked through a few of the prior concepts, and come now to this place. The new souls get to experience the new concepts in really powerful ways. Identity is something that we've worked out over the long period of time, but with so much complexity on it now, sometimes it's hard to figure out freshly, if you're brand new, where exactly to absorb, adapt, and embrace new beginnings. And honestly, pick whatever feels the best. If you're not changing who you are periodically throughout life, you're not growing, you're not developing. And so finding that person that's hiding in an overwhelmed abundance, honestly, try a piece of cake. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, go on to the next. If it's more the confusion because it just feels detached or without basis in reality, or the identity is hiding in something that is just too far removed from the physical form, then it's a tiptoeing through the representations and interpretations of that energy form. I'm careful in my approach on this because identity discovery is very, very, very delicate. And preface and disclaimer, anybody that is working with a registered therapist or professional healthcare worker, do not take my advice over top of theirs. You are welcome to bring it up to them as question of debate, but my advice is not based in medical practice or in professional registration. What I do believe, though, with identity is some of us find symbolisms of identity in our actions and our intentions. And then when we move forward with that action and intention, we realize that identity is attached to something that already exists. You get some people that really, really like the idea of glamorization of their body and their skin. That component exists in the identity of the feminine right now. And so for a lot of people, they feel, well, I'm a man that likes to glamorize like them, maybe I'm supposed to be them. When you take it and make it a physical reality, I think that's a personal choice that should not be eliminated, but should be considered on the grander scale. And the grander scale is that you are admitting an intangible concept of yourself into that moment. And so you are the feminine expressing glamorous beauty, and you don't need the skin change in order to accommodate that, but instead you just need to find the power that resides within that glamorization and express it in a way that feels correct. If that correction requires skin change on a personal level, that's a personal choice, but it can't be it can't be somebody else on the outside of this person saying, you're dressing like a woman, you should just go get in the skin of a woman, and forcing them along that path. It's personal choice how we express identity. And with what's in the world right now, there's so much to say, what do I want to be? At the core, final step of it all, personal choice reigns everything. Who you are is your choice, above all free will and even above destiny's declarations. If the universe needs you to do something in your time on this universe, you will do it. You will not be able to get out of it. It is a fixed point in time, and screw you, you will go through that moment. But everything else is manipulable. And so who most of us are, because big actors in the universe aren't really such a thing anymore, who most of us are is our own personal discovery and our own personal design. So we can go through the step-by-step process of saying, I like this trait, I like this quality, I like this person's attitude, I like this person's dress. And from these 5 different people, we can create a model of who we want to be in ourselves. That is the superior form, I think, for discovering who you are. Look throughout history, look throughout current events, look throughout your own imagination. What do you see the perfect model of self as? And no, it's not you. None of us are perfect. I'm pretty good, but I ain't perfect. But knowing what my perfect example is, I can move towards it step by step, day by day. Just being genuine in that I believe that is the perfect way to go. Long rant, but like if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, shoot me a message anytime. I'll always get into this topic. Always open door. Always happy to help and support wherever I can. So at the end of the day, none of us are getting out of here alive. So let's make it as comfortable for each other as we can so that everyone can have a good time with whatever time they've got. Hello, Wilderness Angel. Good to see you again today. Thanks for coming back around. I'm half working, half ranting, half doing nothing. It's normal day in the life of a wizard. I was going to look up all my energy shift things because I know this next few weeks is supposed to be dumb. And I'm supposed to be gone in 20 days, and I haven't got all my postings and things ready to go yet. So going to use this as a means of making some TikTok videos that I can then just throw up before I leave. Leave you guys a nice pile of my nonsense to read and enjoy. If you've only got me on TikTok, you can actually find me pretty much anywhere by searching up Lopik Magic House, LOPIK MAGICHOUSE. Lopik Magic House on Facebook, on YouTube, of course here on TikTok. I am on X, formerly Twitter. I like calling it Twitter. I'll probably still call it Twitter. But I get into fights on Twitter. I wouldn't follow me on Twitter. Even I can get into fights on Twitter. I think Twitter's probably a hellscape, and that's one of the only reasons I'm still hanging out there. Watching it for the different eruptions that happen in the world has been really helpful. And patterns is the name of the game. You get people out there discussing spiritual gift, and spiritual gift is absolutely a big thing in the world. I don't think it's exclusive to just a few people, though. I think everybody has access. And it comes down to how we individually want to connect to that energy and connect to that form. Hi, Frankie. Good to see you. The nature of it is the self-discovery leading you to finding what is you, what is your form, what is your energy flow, right? And by going through the step-by-step self-discovery process and evolution, you start to finally come out with identity, understanding, form of self on a spiritual level. A lot of people, like the soul's hard to find, right? Because first off, science doesn't really have a specific way of tracking it. We can watch it be affected by things like anesthesia, but we don't actually know what the anesthesia is doing. We know it's having these apparent effects, and that seems to separate body and consciousness, but we don't really know exactly what's being separated out because we don't really understand what consciousness is. And as we continue to develop and grow in the world, we start to realize that consciousness may not just be a human form. It's one of the things that Christians especially have always been kind of pushy on, that animals aren't conscious, animals don't have a soul. And I got into a long debate with an ex-pastor because he followed to the Bible verse on that there is no consciousness within an animal. There is no soul there, so they can't be conscious. But if you watch some animals, you work with certain animals long enough, especially certain pets, you can see the development of not just personality based on instinctual habits, but how they start to seek out particular things, particular colors, particular favorites. The favorites aren't necessarily specific to a scent. They're specific sometimes quite literally to an item. You get a dog losing a stuffed animal, so you get the exact same stuffed animal and offer it to them, and they turn their nose up at it because they know it's not the same. A sense of loss, a sense of departure exists for a lot of animals too. Consciousness hides somewhere in there and is our gateway, as it were, to spiritual self and spiritual development. But for most of us, sitting with that is tricky. We have thoughts. Some of us is a monologue, some of us is imagery. But we're not really taught that that's in any way part of our consciousness. It's our thoughts. We have emotions and our feelings. And sometimes we say we feel our feelings in the soul. But science likes to say emotions are more of a biological function, chemicals releasing that inspire certain sensations. And in all of these processes, they keep pointing out observation and perspective, things can be changed by them. On some level, that is consciousness. That is both the universal consciousness that we are all extracted from. Divine consciousness is sometimes a word that you see thrown around in the New Age groups, but it's in the Christian terms, it's God. In the Wiccan terms, it's the mother goddess, father goddess kind of dynamics. Father goddess, it's the mother father dynamics in duhamity. In the Taoism, it's the Tao. In Buddhism, I believe it's nirvana. Like it's the all-encompassing bliss state. And I don't know about bliss. I think when you exist, you just are naturally in bliss. You are naturally in happiness. You are naturally in joy when you're just existing naturally. But it's from there that we all come. It's to there we are all destined to go. When you can manage yourself as being a visitor and a traveler, when you can have that perspective on yourself as being not just a series of programmed events, but an observer taking in a story of development, growth, and personal change. That's when you're starting to connect with that personal, beautiful, spiritual soul. It's that self that exists behind all of the operations that happen. Now, a lot of people are on instinct. They are on pre-programming. And this is, a lot of people conspiracy theorize it, that it's the Matrix keeping us down and trying to keep us trapped and blah, 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 blah. And I don't, if there was a shadowy cabal running this whole program, I guarantee you they'd have a way better handle on it than they do. So no, this is manic panic. This is a very much a broken down shit show. And because we're all running on autopilot, we just go with it because it's what we think is the norm. Instinct overrules consciousness in a weird way if consciousness chooses not to observe instinct. And so an election comes around, everybody bickers, everybody yells, everybody shouts, some people close their ears, and then we get the same results time and time again. Less than half of a population actually showing up to vote, and generally dissatisfaction across the board. There's other options. Hell, there's more options in Canada than there is in the United States. You guys have 2 parties. We at least have 5, at least, that usually get seats. There's 40, 50, 60 sometimes overall in the runnings. Why isn't it more broken down to people voting by their morals, their values, and their beliefs? Instead, it just becomes Team A versus Team B, red versus blue, A versus B. And that black and white thinking is what ultimately gets us all screwed over. So people living in instinct, getting trapped in that, sure, that's one side of it. But there's the other side of it too, of people getting themselves locked into running just entirely from perspective and spiritual experience. The desire to just let it go all loose and cavalier seems like it's a good idea on the surface, but it's just the opposite of the non-thinking. There's got to be a balance for a good, well-meaning spiritual experience. And that, I think, is the nature of the universe right now. We've worked really well with extremes over the long course of time. The Paladin and the Lich are my best framings for the first universe these days. The Paladin being steadfast, loyal to a fault, and without any desire to step away from the instincts that the divine presented it. The Lich, on the other hand, recognizing the gift and the power that is life and wanting to make sure that it can be sustained and used properly for all time and all place and all being. Empowering the Lich to be in dominance of life and the Paladin to be in servitude to life. And life was okay with both of them. But that idea that life could be both created sort of a question of how could one and both be correct and right. And so we tried again, this time looking at was it just individuality that created this? And so we had the many, the mob, the swarm of conscious wrapped together. And that was a neat experiment for a while, but individuality still reigns out and pushes in a different direction. And free will became the next major question. And downward and onward, so that universe and life could understand what it itself is trying to do. Why are we here? Is not just a question that humans share, but God does as well. Because for him, it's all just, I'm here and I'm doing this. What do I do with it? Consciousness is terrified on a grand scale because it really doesn't have immediate understanding at all. So it goes through, it understands a little bit each time with each growth, each death, and each mistake. The constant, beautiful dance that is our spiritual reality. When we get to the final point of it, we submit our experiences back into the grand consciousness. Grand consciousness says, I have learned this and I accept this and I will move forward with this from there. And that is the slow, steady growth and expansion of all of us in and out of conscious existence. When you find how you most want to be a contributor to it, and I'm working on some principles. My 4 pillars of it are the warrior, the priest, the bard, and the scholar. The power to assert will through force, the warrior. The power to assert force through presence, the priest. The power to dissuade and discombobulate things with knowledge, the scholar. The power to chaos with the scholar, the power to chaos with the bard, through music and art, expression and free expression. And from that, there are combinations, I imagine, that I'm starting to see that may become my next layer of archetypes underneath them. The guardian is a subsection between the warrior and the priest. And it's steadfast and it's loyal, and it's got to be this way to death. The rebel being the warrior and the scholar usually, needing to see the truth of the matter revealed, and because you won't hear my words and won't hear the wisdom of the knowledge, I will use the force of my knowledge against you instead, and create change and create developments. Each brings in new complexities and new layers, and at the end of the day, it all comes back to just a relative perspective on it. But when you have base terms, understandings, and concepts that you can start to see a reflection of life and reality in, you can start to use them as a tool set to design yourself, to shape who you are based around those principles. If I go to a person and use one of those 4 base pillar terms, they can usually picture something with that, and the picture quality is very similar between people. It's all it's got to be. What is the best quality of expression that we can come out with? And that's the universe's plan, what they're trying to figure out, what it's trying to come to understand. And we here are all just the beautiful little actors on the stage, stuck dancing for life. So spring is almost over. June 20th, we hit that summer switchover. And with it comes all the fun vibes and fun energies that summer should be destined for. Going out and about and bringing our designs and desires into the Northern Hemisphere world. Southern Hemisphere, of course, you guys are careening towards winter, so I guess it really doesn't apply when I say it this way, but the shift over, the transition period itself is always sort of a disruptive time point, and something that we can all kind of share in and buy in on. Hurricane season down for Rabbit, tornado season showing up here in Alberta. It's going to be wild weathers and wild fun. Now, transition periods, when the pendulum is swinging from one momentum to another, it gives you an impact of force and energy against you, and you got to find some way to moderate that energy, hold that energy, and transition it into the next form. I usually would advise brace and hold, and what I mean by that is hold on to the core concepts of what you are, who you are, and brace against whatever gives it foundation. I'm a guardian. I like helping people. So as long as I'm helping people and doing that, I feel like I'm in the right element. And so it means I get right in front of the chaos, but being an agent of chaos, it usually empowers me. It doesn't diminish me. If a person was more an agent of order, then doing it as a guardian and the swing point, they're inviting people to a home barbecue and keeping them there for the transition day, where they can see them, where it's safe and sound. Me, I'm on the streets watching what's happening in the middle of a riot, and just gotta have it kind of go back and forth in even order. Okay, Frankie, I'm glad you hung out for a little bit. Glad you came on by. I'm on a stream. I'm gonna try and be on every single day until I leave. I leave on the 23rd. Well, okay, I leave on the 27th. Officially, I'm shutting down on the 23rd, though, because screw you all. Nobody gets to hang out with me on my birthday. But we're going to have a lot of lives going on, so pop them back. I'll try and get them on a little bit earlier, too, see if that helps out. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Stay well. Be good. Be good. Try to be good. Because chaos is absolutely abounding. People are always getting to heightened emotions during the springtime, and some of it's spring fever, some of it's just making sure that we're on the right dynamic for when we come into the next phase, that is summertime bliss. But summertime bliss looks different from people to people, but most of us have an idea ahead of time what it's going to be. I spend my summer running around doing festivals because one, it's a good soldiering for me to escape out, be in the wilderness and away from all the people. Not that I dislike people, but when you get around the same experiences, the same energies for too long, sometimes you lose yourself a little bit into it. When I can put myself instead into a complete natural environment, there I can feel a little bit more like my own self and just sort of commune with the nature of the world that's around me. That's honestly your best bet in all givings. Just find the place where you can feel most naturally like yourself. Holy places are the places where that becomes automatic. For a lot of Christians, it is church. A lot of Christians absolutely adore their church space as being that place to get that best version of self and best flow of themselves. Fisher people that like going fishing religiously, quite often are related to this as well too. For them, it's something akin to the wilderness, but hunting within the wilderness, pursuing in the wilderness, trying to find a means of control over the wilderness, and all that kind of fun nonsense. Got people popping in and out. I'm half working on my laptop here trying to get I got all the tarot cards up. I'm trying to put little images on them so I can have them up for posting in a few weeks. I just can't wait to get away, to be honest. Away is good. I said download. Why won't you download? Yes, there we go. Thank you. Go ahead, Bella. Download. There we go. I love it when a thing fixes. Animal. If anybody does want a card, you just gotta throw out a request and I'd be more than happy to oblige. Otherwise, I'm gonna just sit here, keep doing my random nonsense, and maybe try to figure out how to get some background music on this. What I really want is like a little 8-bit player. I want to make little Mega Man sounding sounds. Have that playing in the background softly. Or even one of my musical instruments would be kind of nice to dig out. Okay, you only had to post once. 8888888888. 88888888. Hi. First time here? I'm super open to everybody. Like if I put an offer out, it'll be everybody. So that's just the name of the game. So we got 3 on the docket there. 88888888. I like that. It's a lot of 8s. Send deep. My apologies. I have an obsession with 8. I've got a guy explaining to me how 88 is number of God, and it makes really good sense. Oh, sorry, 80. 80 is the number of God. Send deep. So your card today, honestly, one of the better cards to come out for this one. We don't see this one very often. Jess, didn't you just ask that question yesterday, or was that a different Jess yesterday? I'll get you on the docket as well too. But like if you're looking for the same answer every day, that's a danger zone. Danger zone. So you got the Prince of Light. Fantastic energy to pick up on, because generally gives that vibe and flow that everything is moving in good order, good function, being sort of noble and steadfast to your own forms, your own bits, and your own nature. It's finding yourself in noble action and steadfast form. And I'm just double checking, like you said, marriage, health, career. I'm just double checking. The career is kind of in a stuck point. There's not much that you can do about that. It is the nature of the beast. Once you find that way to get the fast access out of it, just make sure that you don't ignore the offer. You have to move, you have to act on it, and you have to say yes. But health is generally okay. Just keep trying new things, keep trying new diets, keep trying new exercises, and keep adding them into your repertoire. There has been some shifts in your metabolism. You'll notice it. It happens a lot. It's fun, actually. It's not that bad. The marriage one is what catches me. Later, Lady of Leprechauns came up on your marriage side. And that's usually an indication that things need a little bit more fun, a little bit more attention. Someone's feeling a bit bored, stagnant, stuck, or in other way processes kind of stuck in a bad spot. So there's more energy that you could be maybe applying into there or asking for from there. I wouldn't neglect it. The partner has to pay in every now and again and make sure that things are actually getting to the right flow and the right dynamic. Got to make sure that you're getting the right bits, getting yourself the right formats and the right stylings. If it's not satisfying, speak up. You always have a right to speak. Never deny yourself that. Good luck, Cindy. Wilderness Angel. Jennifer, I see you down there too. I'll get you added onto the list. It's a different deck today too, so you could find that this answer works better for you, especially since these are my asshole cards. Stop calling you guys assholes later. Wilderness Angel, what do we got for you? I shouldn't say asshole. What I should say is they tend to be critical, very critical. Wilderness Angel, your atmosphere is the messenger, which usually relates to being in communication, expressions, trying to find the right tone, the right attitude, the right phrasing, the right way to make something heard and something seen. Your main card, though, is the Temptation. And temptation is a trick concept, because for one to be tempted, they have to be in insecurity. Whether that insecurity being partner's an asshole, or whether it be the money's not there, or whether it be the job's not stable, or whether it be the health fix sounds quick and easy. Insecurity becomes the linchpin to which temptation has power and ability over top of us. So there's news that you want, there's things that you want to say, there's things that you want to connect, and there's feeling like an opportunity right now to do exactly those things and engage directly with those energies and with those flows. But what cost comes with it? And is it a trap? Is it someone trying to lure you into doing things that you know isn't necessarily appropriate, right? Or maybe that you feel just a desire for, even though you know that it's not necessarily on the level or in the form. Be mindful. Where is this guidance trying to take you? What is it trying to lead you into? What is it trying to set you up for? And make sure that it feels appropriate for you and not just dabbling in the nonsense. Be mindful, be careful, be smart. Think it through. Rabbit, Jas, Jennifer, and... oh, you're not married yet. Well, shit, go have fun. Are you... Is your situation one that likely to be arranged, or is it likely to be free choice? That would be my one big question for you, Cindy. And if it is something that you get to choose, get out there. Get out there, get out there, get out there. If it's that it's going to be arranged for you, get out there. You're not going to have much time. Now, Rabbit, let's get you. You, Jas, Jennifer. Wow, finally a deck that likes you. I mean, no offense. I mean none whatsoever. Mood and environment is Pan, flying free, finding new heights, finding new energy, belief. Do you have the belief in the power of happy thoughts to make you fly and get you across the world? Hi, Kimrix. But the top card, Joy of the Future. So you're on the right path, as it were, which me and this deck are going to have a long chat later on about it. There's always something more to learn. There's always something more to find, Wilderness. Because I've been watching for a while, Rabbit, and the organized chaos of it all, it's been a mixed blessing because you've had the resolve and the desire, but when it comes to the activity and the energy being pushed through, you can only get so far, and other parties need to. I've always thought that it was that other parties need to own up a little bit more and play in a little bit heavier. Now, this isn't talking about the other party whatsoever. It's just saying that things are falling into place, things are moving in the right fashion, and you just simply need to make sure that you keep your eyes on the prize and keep moving yourself towards those goals and towards those objectives. If it's entirely taken as a positive tone and not the fairies leading you into a trap, then yes, you're in the right course and doing the right things and paying the respects that are going to get you back the dividends from the land. If it is a trap, I don't think it's you. Because they wouldn't present it with Pan on the bottom at all. Pan goes free, Pan never changes. Would it be a trap for you, or would it be a trap for the boy? Like somebody's pissed on the electric fence, and I as I get older with you, it's less and less do I think it's you that pissed on the electric fence, and more that I think it's something else around you. And comes a point where, if you're liberated and no longer going to be stuck on that path of destruction and pain, I'm not going to argue. Be ready for some things to sometimes be taken in cost for passage, especially when it comes to the fairies. They absolutely will take their pay when they can. Hi, Panic Surgery. Good to see you. Thanks. It's a girl shirt, but I really, really, really had to have a Fallout shirt. This was long before the Fallout TV show came out, so I'm sure I'll be able to find some men's clothes now for it, but at some point. Is he hexed, or is he being run through trials? Is he hexed, or is he being run through trials? Like, I'll tell you what. I'm going to mail you a fairy wand. I've been appeasing the spirits of Edmonton by providing them decorated wands and tools of power. And so if it is the fairies on your land, we provide them a payment through a staff, then they will fuck off and they'll be off the bat. If it doesn't fuck off, then sure, okay, fine. We'll test him for a hex, but I hate hex breaking. It always ends up spilling. It's one of the few energy forms that don't stay in their reservoir very well, and I always end up with spillage when it goes sideways. So, organized chaos. Yeah, denial of the power of parents is one of the tricky ones. Denial of the authority figure comes from accepting the authority over yourself, but it's a tricky one. Jas, do I have a future with Amar? What did the fairies have for you on Amar? And Jess. So the environment on it is the magician. The magician in this deck is all show, no play. He doesn't actually have magic. He doesn't have power. He's just got a lot of cards that he can throw around in the air. And so it's appearances. And we need to look past the appearances and see what's actually there. Your energy comes up with the Lady of Unicorns. Now, the Lady of Unicorns is a glamorization. It's something that is mythical and something that is glorious and completely untouchable by mortals. The basic common person cannot handle the energy, the form, and the dynamic of the unicorn. And that is why the unicorn becomes such a prominent figure in folklore and certain literature about being this pure beast, untouchable except for by a maiden's hand. The reality is, he ain't no maiden. Why are you letting a non-maiden touch you? Why are you letting someone unpure touch you? Why are you letting somebody that's just trickery and glamour and play touch you? Why are you engaging with this energy that is so far beneath you? This magician does not have substance. This magician has glitz and glamour. It all looks really good on the surface. Is this really what the unicorn should be getting herself involved with, though? Pretty lights, fancy dresses, and otherwise being paraded around like a show horse? She's a unicorn, not a show horse. Good luck. Like, don't fuck with the unicorns, guys. The unicorn magic too, when it kicks back hard, it kicks back dangerous. But you've got to be able to assert that control and that care for yourself. And sometimes you just gotta stab a motherfucker. There's a reason why you've got a built-in knife. Jennifer, let's catch you next. The other fun thing too is different decks, different personalities, different views on it. I've got one deck that really likes to make people just go through the lesson, and so I'm kind of careful with that one. This one doesn't understand why you're wasting time on the lesson when you should just know it. You should just know it, and that's fairy attitude. You should know better. Why do you think they like to play the little trick of, may I have your name? Because, motherfucker, what human just gives away their name? You should know better. You should be aware of what your name is and why you don't just give it away. And they really like to slap a person on the face with the truth of the matter, the blunt, simplistic truth. Fairies are technically right, the best kind of right. Jennifer, W, looking at relationship. Okay, so your theme environment is the oh no card. What is this rotten little monster that's sitting next to you and staring at you and bothering you? Well, if we're talking about an environment of the relationships, the relationship itself. This relationship doesn't necessarily create anything immediately out of it, but it does inspire growth. So I've got an ugly little monster of a relationship, but it's making people grow. So the reality is this relationship itself is not the best, not the good focus, not the good right, but parties involved might be trying to work through it and communicate through it. But until you address the monster in the room, what is really going to change? And so get right down to like that 3 to 5 year plan. Get right down to it with your partner, Jennifer. Figure out a 3 to 5 year plan and whether you guys are moving in the same direction or not. If you write down a goal for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and get your partner to do the same and swap those to each other, you're going to get a really good picture really damn fast of whether the relationship's going in the right direction or not. And if it's not shared qualities, if it's not shared goals, if it's not a shared objective, what are you guys really working on? What are you guys really working towards, right? What is the purpose of the relationship then? And that might be the ugly little monster on the toadstool. Some people don't realize that they've gotten into a relationship because they want the idea of family, but they really want just to not be alone. And you can get not being alone without a relationship. It just feels easier to do sometimes by having that live-in partner and that live-in connection. Hello, Forever Healing. Who else we got in here? It's probably a trap, yes. Oh yeah, there we are. There we go. Parent figures and hexes, generational curses, absolutely yes. I'm not sure if you're still in here to chat on this one, Laura, which generational patterns. A curse might not be a fair term in some cases. When you're working with generational energies, you're going to have some energies in some forms. Forever Healing, if you're still in here, I'll get to you too. Some energies in some forms are a river. They flow through. And in the genealogy, I very much like the idea of a family river, and what the first family member throws in carries down to the next person for them to either fish out or add to. Now, if generation after generation after generation, it's everybody just dumping trauma and things into the river, at some point the river will dam up, it will overflow, and the family will get swept away. If instead you get a good balance of people throwing things in, other people fishing things out, well, what you've got now is a shipping route. You now have the capacity to. Generational curses, make sure out specifics. Is it that it is continuation of generational work for the betterment of the overall spiritual concept? Or is it cleansing of the generational baggage that others have thrown into the river to prevent that damming and that flooding and that explosion of bad things that might come through as a result? Little things, little thoughts, little bits. I did read that on Facebook, I think. Yes. Congratulations. It's about fucking time. But like you two have been steadfast and solid rocks the entire time, so I'm not surprised. Is he still working as a paramedic? Is he still dealing with AHS and all that bullshit? Because I know, like, and you too, of course. Because that's, I'm so sorry for what you guys have to deal with right now in Alberta, but honestly, at least you got the joy to go with the chaos of the work. Where was he on pictures? But yeah, good luck, Sally. Laro Witch Sally. Hopefully we can connect at some point, because I love chatting spirit and magic and all the other fun stuff. Forever Healing, there it is. Will things work out with my significant other? I used to use these gals on love readings, and I stopped for a while because they are interesting when it comes to relationship shit. But sometimes environment is prick up your ears, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the indications. Wake up and notice. Wake up and notice. Just notice. The surface card, however, is the boy. What do you do when the partner just doesn't want to grow up, but wants to be called captain and wants to be called boss and wants to do all the things? There has to be that development, demonstration of capacity and ability to go along with the title and the form. But if a person's not owning up to that challenge and becoming that new man, then there's a problem. Why are they not falling into that proper respect, falling into that proper order, falling into that proper passion? Some people hold on to their inner child because it's a desperate need to feel like they have a piece of themselves from when they were younger. Losing the inner child feels like an early death. It might be honestly the first death that most of us will face. Others, they've never been challenged to actually grow up. They haven't had to be responsible enough for themselves. They haven't had to do any of the ins and outs that create that formidable person that wants to shape the world rather than just dancing in the world. Once you got an idea of why they're not going through that progress and development, though, then you can actually start to apply on the transformation, that metamorphosis. You can start saying, listen, I get that you have never paid taxes before. Let's go do it together. Let's sit down and go through it all together. Or I get that you like to take it in to your buddy to get the oil changes, but I think he's overcharging you. Let's go do it this way and maybe do it together. I know cleaning the house sometimes seems like a chore. Most people don't realize how much dust can accumulate in a house in a given day. And when we do actually go and look at it, it's like, how did this get so far? And so building those habits to maintain it and improve it and make it right. I want more beer, but I can't afford more beer, so I have to go get more money to get more beer. There's process. And process itself is the trick to having a person develop into a man. The process. I'm trying to tiptoe on this because I'm going to start getting into one of my masculine feminine rants again, and I've been trying really hard not to just dig on that all day. And so my apologies, I'm taking my time on this one. But the feminine field is the space, and the space is created and maintained to the feminine comfort. That is feminine energy. The masculine energy, however, it has a need, a want, a crave, or something to offer, and it's got to push itself through. So boys are technically more of a feminine energy form until they start to have enough desire to actually shoot their wants and shoot their energy and fire their shot into something. And until he understands that his ideas, his words, his actions, all of this can be a projected energy that he could contribute to whatever his goals are to be, until he acknowledges that that's all him, it doesn't actually evolve him up out of being a boy. And not to say that men have to be that way or women have to be that way. Honestly, mix your energies. It's way better. It's way better. Contain both as much as you can. Because when you can contain both, you can recognize the need to be in one form versus the other and balance yourself around it a lot more appropriately. He's maybe sitting a little too heavily in the field energy right now. And I see that happen when a lot of people are in denial about being in depression or negative mental state, because if they acknowledge the negative mental state, then they become vulnerable. If they become vulnerable, they feel weak. And if they feel weak, they self-destruct and close off and go through that bad, stupid loop that has been trained into every boy for the last at least 100 years. They get beat into suffering silently, and recognizing that they are in that state helps sometimes for them to actually come out of it and start trying to approach change. They just got to be encouraged. You can't sit on your hands and expect the world to change. You have to act against the world to move it into new formation. So good luck. Will it improve? Depends how you can deliver that to him. And if you infantilize him, it's not going to work at all. Listen and read between the lines and see what's going on in between the lines specifically for your answers. There's something that he says vaguely, consistently, and I would look into that and see what you can dig out of it. Good luck. Where are we at? Solar flare. I thought I saw one of those. I'm sorry to hear that you're near of leaving. For what it's worth, this deck has never been one to tell people to stay when they shouldn't or to suffer when they shouldn't. This isn't your first time getting near to leaving, though, I feel. If I can ask, like, what is your time limit on change? What is your expectation for time of change? I like to say 6 months. My actual practice is closer to a year. But like if somebody's being a complete idiot all spring long, and summer rolls around and they're still being that same idiot, I have no argument against leaving at that point. That's only 6 months. I've been told quite often that that's too short of a time for some people, but I honestly think it's almost perfect. So if you watch him for 6 months, don't see any change, would that be enough observation time to feel like you can leave without guilt? And if so, set a date. Have a conversation with him 6 months before that date saying, this is what I see, this is what's wrong, this is what needs to change. Have it be very simple, obvious things, and see what happens. Because if they're genuine and they were trying to improve, they will try. You will see differences. You will see effects from your words and from your conversation. But if they don't really care, they'll lump right out on you and never do anything for you. It's just the nature of the beast. When we believe that we need to be taken care of, we will just expect it and sit there and wait for it until it actually does show up. Just kind of the problem. Oh, tarot cards are finally downloaded. Where? Show me the folder. Meaning to look and see how far I got my tarot Bible too, because that was some time ago. I can't remember where I left it at. And that's what you're probably going to be stuck with, a lot of you guys. No worries forever. So you guys are going to be stuck with while I'm away, by the way, is a lot of my ramblings and rants and raves and everything else. 20 days until I leave. If you want to book an appointment, now's definitely the time. You got 20 days left before I have to take off, and will not be able to do any video chats or appointments of that form. There it is. Tarot cards. Yay! Honey. Oh, sugar. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, honey, honey. I'm going to the Salmo Ranch. The Shambhala Music Festival runs every year out on that ranch, and I was invited out to it back in 2005, 2004 by Leona. Well, I can't see that so well. Let's find a way. Let's go that way. That's Leona's Rose. That's a wonderful long story for another day. But Leona, fantastic influence on my soul and on my life, encouraged me to get out to that festival and just see what it was all about. It took me 15 years almost to get out there. 2019 was my first year, and it was phenomenal. It was fantastic, and it was exactly what it was predicted to be for me. It's just hilarious. 2020, COVID hit, they canceled. 2021 didn't happen either. 2022, they restarted. I got there. 2023, went there. 2024, went there. And probably going to be every year going forward until I finally croak and drop dead. It's sojourn. It's a holy land, absolutely. The community that's gathered around there is spiritually natured in their first intention, thereby making it constantly a church and temple towards music and adoration that comes out of it. The music is phenomenal. The culture of love is incredible. And the wild animals really, really do make it. Have you ever seen a wild turkey jump? They're like 6 feet in the air when they jump. It's phenomenal. Love it. And where else are you going to get this? Not in a city, for sure. That's why I like getting out and about into the wilderness as much as possible, and it provides a good balance of it. Last year, I got out on a contract with them. This year, I get the full contract. And so it's just progression and growth and development in the nicest way as well, too, which can't complain. If I get stuck and bored, I get really, really troublesome. So it's really helpful that way as well. Looking through my listing that I did for tarot, and I didn't finish the major arcana. Fine, be that way, see if I care. I gotta get something posted though, and that's half my problem right now, is too many projects strewn around in like 4 different spots or 5 different spots. Energy calendar is all done though, and so at least I'll have that one ready to show for y'all. The energy calendar is based entirely off of the astrological placements. So numerical variables applied to different elements based upon what zodiac planet is sitting in, and varying values depending on my interpretations of their effect on us as a collective and as a group. And so that'll be available on Facebook, and I might do like a video or 2 on here, but those things just seem to kind of get stuck in the middle of nowhere after a while. Lots to do in the 20 days before I have to, get out there and be on the farm. 27th of June, we leave. I'm going to stop doing most of my workings around the 23rd, though, just so I can have a little bit of last time there to get it all through. And then August 1st is my last shift, so August 2nd I'm probably driving back. And that's usually a 2-day trip. We might make it a little bit longer because there's a whole bunch of different rock sites and other bits to check out on the way between. Brains. Okay. So when I put the request out on what people want to see while I'm away, tarot training from Ayana was a really, really big one that was kind of pushed out there, and so we're going to make sure we've got the major arcana cards, practice guides or something like that kind of put together for y'all. I don't know what else to kind of put out there though. Like the Tarot Tuesdays are all up on YouTube, and so people can kind of pick up a few things there. Hi Jay. I won't be able to do any card reading live shows obviously, but like I could do prediction cards for everyone as a collective, which it's not bad. It's just one of those cases where you have to take what matters and leave behind what doesn't. And I think most of you guys are pretty upbeat when it comes to that dynamic. You'll notice this actually a lot if you're wandering through any of the spiritual groups, is a lot of people will sometimes throw out their cards and interpretations on it. And let's say there's a card draw going out for all water signs, well, Cancers, Pisces, and Scorpios. And it's talking about emotions being turbulent and up and chaotic and like it's a windstorm. And you might be one of the water signs that's well balanced and just like this doesn't resonate whatsoever. What's this person smoking? And they could be smoking a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that's the problem. Sometimes it's not just your message, it's somebody else's. And so just being able to realize what to accept in messaging and what to reject, a lot of that comes from just feeling it within your own heart. Jack, yes. Sorry, Stephanie. Will Sean reach out to me? We can get you a card. And Jay, we can get you a question. Sure. If you have a question, write it down. If you just want a general card, just let me know. Stephanie, will Sean reach out to me? These are the Heart of the Fairies, by the way. They got some good attitude when it comes to love readings. Stephanie about Sean. Why does Sean reach out to you? The mood and the theme of it is centered on temptation. So should Sean be reaching out to you? Is it okay for Sean to reach out for you? Is it the right thing? And what is it that makes the environment slightly unsavory to all parties involved? Why is it that there's a tone to it that makes it off tone, you know, off key? Your surface card, however, was the Bright Spark. The Bright Spark centers entirely in on instant reaction, gratification, quick light, quick power. Typically, when we need that jolt, that quick rush, that quick hit, I have a weird sensation that Sean isn't necessarily coming around for longevity. He's not here for a long time. He's here for good time. And so making sure that you're really, really minding what exactly he's asking for when he does might be kind of key here. Not saying it's a matter of he got kicked out by the wife and now he's looking for somewhere to shack up, but it could be he can't get his usual fix, and so you're going to be the replacement. Or he doesn't want to go deal with one problem, so he's going to hide away elsewhere. That he's going to bring an energy, sure, but is it the kind of energy that you want in your space? Is it going to start a fire that you can manage, that you can control? Or is it going to start a fire that's going to burn down the whole goddamn house? Will he reach out? Eventually. He always does. But what is he reaching out for? Do you want a private reading sometime? Panic surgery? I would probably read you with this deck because they seem like they'll be polite to you, but I'd give you a full private session if you want. If you just want a card now, though. Yeah, no, we'll do that then. Let's do that. I've got truck. I can get around town, so we just got to figure out when and where and how. Thanks, Cammy Hazard. If you want a card, just give me permission. I'll be happy to throw you one. Everybody gets a card if they ask me for one. I'm kind of obsessive that way. Did Jay leave? She asked about a question. Can I ask a question, please? And then I don't think I ever saw a question come up. Yeah. So leave the dumbass alone. If Sean's being a dumbass, leave him alone. Amori, will Landon be part of my life forever? Forever is a really long time, guys. Like, at the end of the day, you yourself are a disembodied consciousness that's currently inhabiting a physical form, and at some point will disembody from that as well, too. And who you are right now is either a sum of your intention with the universe or a sum of your experiences in this life or a combination of the two to different levels. Love, romantic love, the time you clean up with a mop and bucket, it's very physical. It's very this world. And so the root issue with the question is, like the heartless love here, you're asking about two different worlds. You're asking about things that just don't correlate. You're here now with each other in the physical, but that's not forever. At some point, the physical ends. So look at the idea of forever differently. If you want this person to be a soul that you share eternity with, then it has to become about the principles of what your intentions are with the universe and the world and your principles towards divine. If you just want to know that you've got a good companion for the rest of your life, then it's probably there, but it still requires a surrender of something that you would rather have value in than what you do right now. Careful with that, Amor. It's... what is the deeper significance of having Landon even as a partner? Is it for the body or is it for the soul? Is it for the emotions or is it for the mind? What is it that's really being satisfied? And would you make that an eternal story for every other human being, boy and girl, and creature on this planet? Good luck. I didn't see the question, Jay. It vanished on me. It just said, can I ask a question, please? If you messaged it to me, I wouldn't. I can see you now. I can see you now, Jay. Did you message it to me or did you post it up in the comments here? I had that happen once upon a time. Is there words in it that you can't say? Sometimes they block things like that. Nope. I don't see any comments. I don't see it. Okay, so try one more. Yeah, try one more time. I don't see it in there at all. Christina. Heck yeah, bro. Heck yeah. No, if you want a card right now, I'll do a card right now. Just say yes, or yes, a card. But otherwise, let's schedule something up. I haven't seen you in forever. Christina. We talked extensively yesterday, Christina. You, at some point here, need to figure out which way you want to go. You're in two minds, you're in two attitudes, and you're just butting ahead against yourself. And you've got the wisdom, you've got the knowledge. Queen of Owls says in the bottom of the scale that you know exactly how this is going to play out. You have seen it again and again, time and time again. And so this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth at some point's got to knock itself off. You have to resolve yourself to one way or the other and follow through with it. And so if you're going to go with that plan that you had yesterday of waiting until she leaves so that you can get his attention when he's no longer distracted, I'm not going to stop you on it. But when you start getting frustrated with yourself that you're giving yourself over like that, that's on you. If you don't want that frustration, you have to leave him. You're stuck waiting for him to come out of it anyway, though. And so like you've got at least another couple months, maybe a month, maybe two, before that distraction point comes up. Can you wait? I asked repeatedly yesterday, can you tolerate his behavior? Because you've got months before you have a chance to try and get him back. And even if you do get him back, there's no guarantee that he won't see it as an opportunity to leave again unless you have the conversation that you know that he's doing these things, that you know that he's being chaotic, and he can have that permission, but he has to ask. Because he needs to learn consent by asking, and you need to learn to not be a doormat and let him walk all over you and run around with these other women. You can't be in two minds. You can't be both the doormat and the rescuer. You got to pick one or the other. Assert or submit. Which is it going to be? I'm not a big fan of telling people to leave relationships. I'm not going to dive into that topic of it either. But you have to either assert to him that he plays by your rules. He can fuck around if he wants, but it's on your consent, not his liberty. He doesn't have the freedom. He has the privilege through your permission. You permissed it, and so it will happen. Get your mindset around that as much as you can. Danique, I see you throwing up a question. Just hang tight there. Lots of questions coming in here and there. Okay, I'll check in the messages and see if I can track it down there. You feel like you're missing something. It's another Sean. What the fuck is with Sean's? Why are Sean's always peckerheads? Jaylene wants to know, why did Sean add me on Snapchat? What were his intentions? Does he miss me? Miss you, or you've got your location on Snapchat, don't you? If you got your location on Snapchat, you should take it off because people will use that to track you down and find you out. He's picking battle. He's picking battle, he's picking war, he's picking conflict. Jay, it's all about conflict. It's all about games. It's all about manipulations. It's all about, they have something I want and I need to take that something that I want to make it mine. I'm going to use my power to make it mine. I'm going to dominate and make it mine. And truthfully, meaning zero offense to people out there, you're all getting old, you're all going to die someday, and that's just the nature of the beast, right? But if you can realize when people are just coming for that selfish intention and avoid and dodge and get out of it entirely, that's where you're going to get your best bet. The maiden on the bottom side reminds us that we have full control over what we consent to. The receptivity is a choice of our own. We can embrace it and make it a part of our being, or we can reject it entirely and make it somebody else's problem. That's all it's got to be. Do you accept it or do you not accept it? And that's kind of turning into the anthem and theme today. Will you accept somebody else's energy, and will you accept somebody else's force? Will you accept somebody else's dominance over your energy, or will you protect your energy and make it entirely your own? Guard yourself, protect yourself, look after yourself. Be yourself. Panic surgery, you're up next. Yes, that one. Yep. Still a little being of mischief, are you? It's funny, I've, the first card I drew, no, I'm not going to use that one with you. Second card that they draw is the exact opposite of that first card, and it's just, don't be cheesy. Don't be cheesy. It was like 20 years ago. Don't be cheesy. Everybody deserves a good spank every now and again. Anyway. You did that set earlier, guys. Come on. Come on. Panic surgery. I know that's not her name, but you don't need her name. Chill out. Oh, you dislike the disharmony. Well, that's not my problem. These ones are being cranky. Not cranky, they're being repetitive. Because I've gotten the rock again twice now. I've gotten chaos, I've gotten order. I could work with this one. So, metamorphosis, transformation. The environment is the queen of day, coming into new life, new growth, new happiness, new joy with oneself. Coming yourself to a new dawn and realization. Dawn's nice because you can actually see things in the dawn. You can actually see what's up ahead, you can see what's moving, you can see what's operating. You can see what is, because the light is now finally out there and the truth is finally available. And the nice thing is, once you know what's really going on, then you can act of your best accord and best format. The hero, champion of the people, champion of herself, going through and cutting down those situations because she got that big old sword of truth, ready to swing and cut down all opponents that would dare deny the truth and the reality at them. This is a moment of power. Change, you're pushing the objective, you're pushing the goal, you're demonstrating the wisdom, you're demonstrating the strength. But I don't think I'm far off from what I was thinking it was related to, like work and situations centered around home and balance of life. You're probably going to be the one leading the charge and making sure that everything falls into the right place, especially when things become unstable for both parties. It's really, really important to make sure that there's always someone that's looking towards the bigger picture and keeping things on good flow, good dynamic. It's gotta be even keel, evened out. Otherwise, danger comes up, and you are now being overwhelmed and taken out by somebody else's intentions and dangers. So you lead the charge. You lead the order. You wear the damn pants, which, yeah, it sounds about right. The downfall to it, and this is probably why the curse card came up first, it means that you are applying a certain amount of that wonderful, wonderful force that you have there. And I would not call it manipulative in my old age, understanding better what it is. It is coercive, maybe. It's formidable. It's insistence. It's all about insistence by being unyielding. And when you can master that, you can push other people without ever actually laying a finger on them, because through your insistence, they had to surrender to your way and to your format. Apply that. It's not a toxic trait. It's just applying where your energy works best. You are Scorpio, after all. Pressure them until they drown. Good luck, have fun. Ayana, let's grab you a card. Ayana coming up with the Lady of Joy on the top side, the question on the bottom side. What are you seeking, right? What is the goal? What is the wonder? What is the desire? Sometimes we get lost in the idea of just asking questions and chasing questions. And so the question or the pursuit of questioning becomes more important to us than actually achieving a sensation of the moment. And I think that's the draw here with this one. Get back to feeling the joy of the moment. Get back to feeling what's in the now. When we live too much looking for the next goal, the next objective, the next design, we start to lose track of where we're currently placed, and that's where it starts to become a big bad wobble for everything. If we can instead just appreciate that we're here right now, the sun's shining, no, Bob's not here, but at least I am, or I'm going out, I'm enjoying a meal. It's not the meal that I wanted because that place burned down last week, but at least it's the meal that I can enjoy in this space and time. Appreciation of the moment is one of those biggest things that allows a person to settle into a sense of good placement, good being, and good flow. It allows an individual to realize that everything is process. It's not all bad. It's not all good. It's all a lot of gray area swinging in between the two. And it gives us a moment to kind of pull back and even ourselves into a sensation of trusting in the moment and the process that is occurring around us. So the main focus for you, Anna, joy, peace, comfort, be at peace. Don't question everything to death, but enjoy the process of the question still. You can't be tortured by not having an end to it. You have to be able to accept and embrace the comforts and balances of it. Good luck, Anna. Wilderness Angel, oldest son ever going to contact? No. Hidden one is what I get coming up for you on that one, and just not an interest in coming back around and being revealed and being shown. He thinks he's pursuing bliss and understanding and connectivity. Cards aren't giving me another direction to go with it. Just hidden entirely and obscured from all potential. Personally taken away so that he does not have to be revealed and doesn't have to be shown. I am so sorry. There's some things on that one about pressure, growth, and development that usually come into play, and something that they have to take on directly themselves. And if they don't take it on, if they don't do it, they will never learn it. They will never understand it. They'll never become better than it. So gotta let them do the thing. Gotta do the prodigal son story. Just the way that it is. Hi, Jamie. So welcome to the show. I honestly, if I'm doing like a Tarot Thursday, it's always free 100% of the time, and all of card requests are always accepted 100% of the time. I like rambling, and so this is just a good way for me to keep active when on live. And so people came in, people asked for readings, I threw it out there, and no, nobody's paying anything. You want one? Go for it. Dive in. Just give me permission. If you give me permission, I will absolutely draw you a card. Becky Hayes wants a card. I get to, speaking of weddings, I get to do I get to be the presider over my first wedding this summer, and I'm panicking excessively about the whole thing because I have not accomplished as much planning as I would like to have done, and I am a little bit behind on that one too. All over the place, I tell you. Becky Hayes. Becky Hayes. Oh, what a combination. So on the bottom end, we got the Lady of Sorrows. Lady of Sorrows is usually related towards being in moments of grief, suffering, pain, acknowledging that there are certain things that are absent, taken apart, taken away, just sort of not able to see the sunshine even if it is coming down. Surface card's the Queen of Bedlam. So we've got a conflict of natures here. The Lady of Sorrow is in suffering. The Queen of Bedlam is in extravagant celebration. We've got one that is needing care and the other that is indulging in excess. And so somewhere with you, there is an imbalance in the echo of, are we taking care of ourselves and addressing the real issues, or are we placating the issues maybe with substances, people, or other things to distract us from the problem? You gotta not run from the pain. You gotta not, you can't drown pain. You really can't drown pain. I'm gonna sidebar entirely and have some fun with this one. So I developed as a child a methodology where there's lots of requests there. I'm so sorry, everyone. This is going to be a thing. So I would I developed a system as a child where when I was feeling a certain amount of pain, I would subscribe that pain towards an artificial structure, I thought artificial structure, that I had formulated within my own imagination. And so a physical pain, I am visually transferring it to this artificial structure. An emotional pain, I am mentally transferring it to this artificial structure. The detachment from pain was an endeavor to numb pain and prevent emotional and physical pain from becoming a distraction from the ability to act in the moment. And we can discuss the results at any point in time. The outcome was, by putting the pain into a subdued process, by isolating it away, by putting it to the side, the pain became a locked memory form. And until that was addressed in some fashion, it remained. So the Queen of Bedlam is ignorant of what they're feeling on the inside. The inside is the Lady of Sorrows. So you're creating habits, behaviors, and moods that aren't really addressing the real you underneath all of it. And worse yet, the more that you dig into those lifestyles and dig into those habits and dig into those moods, the further from your emotional pain you're going to get. At some point, other emotions will start to seize up and fail out as a result, and you'll have to go all the way back to that emotional pain and when you compressed it all up and start to undo it, resulting in a lot of ultimately re-traumatizing yourself and rediscovering your emotions through the pain that you thought that you had gotten rid of in the first place. Address what's bothering you. Address what's making you run scared. Address what's chasing you away from your happiness, and try to find a way to bring it back into a good flow with it. You gotta make sure that you're getting things in a way, Becky, that it's not going to become detrimental to how you perceive yourself in the future. Good luck. Jay, if you're still in the crowd, if somebody adds you to Snapchat at 2 a.m., it's because they're jerking off. Full disclosure, if a man is adding you to Snapchat in the middle of the night, they've got it in hand, literally, and they are looking for that release. Anyone that says otherwise needs to present proof. I will sell out every single secret of the boys, I swear to God. Stacy asking about X apologizing for his mistakes. It's funny because I read you guys' questions and then I get an impulse of response from the cards, and the impulse is always wonderful with these cards. Always wonderful, but it's where you start to get a sense of personality from some objects. It's one of those weird little things. Stacy, X, accountability. No. Well, so the situation is gone, leaving, departed. Why should I take responsibility for what wasn't my fault? You were a contributor to this relationship too. So where's your responsibility? Where's your accountability? What about your mistakes? And that's going to be his pushback. Anytime that it tries to be brought to his attention or brought to his forum. I might have done that, but they did this. I might have been that, but they were this. That was a response to them doing this. Got into a conversation with some people who were discussing the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial and the fact that, yes, Amber Heard did basically get slapped for something, but the something that she got for was for speaking something that caused somebody else's career to suffer. She didn't get slapped for telling lies. She got slapped for ruining somebody's reputation, possibly with the truth. And it led into this whole dynamic of abuse response syndrome, where you become weird and worse than your abuser because you don't want to just leave the abuser, but you want them to see their behaviors and their actions. And so we get into some toxic relationships. We're batting the same tennis ball back and forth. You're crappy. I'm going to serve that to you. Well, you're awful. I'm going to serve that to you. And it just becomes the rage being exchanged constantly between the parties. Your guys' dynamic, you and your ex, feel like that. Don't. Who cares? Walk away. Move on. Fuck apologies. There's going to be no accountability there. Yona, will my husband and I reconcile soon? They're going to find out that it's the heart of the cards and no one's going to want a fucking reading again after this one. Yona. No. Like, The adaptation and the change has to come from first finding substance. Neither party has a lot of substance to offer. They're magicians, and it's all hand games and shows and card shows. And you especially, there's something in the element that has to be adjusted in such a way that it provides new light, new health. And in the night, things are supposed to be about evenness. They're supposed to be about balance. It's supposed to be about finding oneself comfortable in the expression of who they are. And when night comes and we're being obscured, when we're being hidden, when we're not necessarily being full up and truthful, sometimes we get into this bad spot where it's all just mischief, chaos, and madness. Fix that light. Get illumination going on. Get passion going on. I'm going to have to rapid fire through a few of these because it seems, unfortunately, I'm getting moved on to my next goal today. I got to go do a house cleaning. So, Namunga, coming to America soon. Queen of Laughter on the backside, Captive Man on the top side. No, it will not be happening. You are stuck in a situation that you have to fix first. Emma, is Megan being distant because she's sick of me? You guys are in competition. You don't realize it yet. There's something that she wants to express and be, and she thinks that she can do it better than you can. The undertone is conflict and argument, so it's becoming that debate over the same thing, something that you both want or something that you both believe that might be in disharmony with one another or at conflict or competition with one another. Either a boy, a belief, or a stripe of attitude or movement. Kathy, does Ben think about me at all? I really need to know. At all? Of course someone thinks of somebody else at some point. That's not the question, though. You want to know if you're being thought of in a nice way, but that's not what you're asking. You got to ask the question. You got to answer the question, guys. Be nice. Be nice. Yeah, same. It's chaos and it's mischief and it's manic. Why would you want him thinking about you anyway? Okay, Christina, that works. Becky, I got you earlier. Wilderness there. Emma, I believe I got you as well. Wedding shoes just came in. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Hi, On the Run. Hi, Niru. Thank you. I try to have good energy. It doesn't work all the time, but I try. Brevin, should I leave Will in my 20s? Is this like future planning for a decade down the way? How old are you now? Yeah, I want to know how old you are now. I want to know what the plan is. What's the goal here? What is the real root of what you're trying to create here, Brevin? Because it's obvious that it's more than just about your 20s and more than just about Will. It's about how you're shaping your life and shaping your future. So are we talking like 5 years? Are we talking 10 years? What are we talking here? What are we doing here? Rosalind, you asked that yesterday. If you ask a card yesterday and ask a card today, do you think you're going to get a good response? Rosalind, wondering about the partner seeing another girl. Yes. Oh no! It's a problem. It's a chaos. It's bullshit. And you know this is going on. You know this has been going on. You've been seeing this going on for a while. So you're looking for validation for things that you already believe in yourself. If you have faith in it, you don't need validation. You have faith. Thanks, Wilderness. Have a good one. Queen C, will my business be successful? Let's take a look. I had Queen B yesterday. I got Queen C today. Maybe Queen D will show up tomorrow with Queen E, Queen F, Queen G. Sorry, mood. I got only a few minutes left. Queen C. You're structuring your business in the way that it's noble and upstanding and steadfast. That's beautiful. I love that. And that's a really, really good thing to do. That doesn't make money. Sometimes when we're doing businesses in a way that we're trying to do it right, it doesn't grow at the speed that we need or want. And that's part of the problem with being in business. It's a process. It's years. Like I've been fucking around with this Lopic Magic House for almost 5 years now, and it's the ups and downs that I have seen through it are ridiculous. If I do it privately through a company, I can make $120,000 a year, but they're going to take a good chunk of that. If I do it like this, I'm going to make a third to a quarter to a fifth of that, but I'm much more comfortable with myself and what I'm doing. So how do you want to do this? And do you want to do it in a way that you're comfortable with yourself, or you want to do it in a way that's successful? Define successful too. That's kind of and like when it's just the basic minimum, when you just need the basic minimum, it sucks when it doesn't provide because it makes you feel like your dream isn't really in the right flow and the right dynamic. Almost there. Tracy, will Corey contact me this week? Maybe. but make sure that you're actually hearing the process of growth and development. Make sure that it's actually worthwhile. Desiree, your changes in life are always worth it because the ability to change is life itself. If you're not allowing yourself to actually grow and evolve and become something better, then you're not actually living. So yes, but you also need to make sure that you're not losing your inner child in the process as well too. Bow, Katie, Patrick, bow. Prince of Shadows. You're going to have to be a little bit more cutting and ruthless and selective with your work if you want to see any progress actually come out of it. You're going to have to get really, really particular with your way and formatting of it. Katie, greenhouse job. Great job for you. Yes, but you're also always looking for the next best thing. So it's really just keep your ear to the ground when you do want to make a move and do want to make an advancement, and whatever move or advancement you want will usually be delivered right to your doorstep. Just pay attention to what's going on in the big picture around you. Patrick, Heather, Than, think about me. Sometimes. Ex, past relationship, something that went on in the past and trying to figure out what exactly it means. Yeah, there's some thinking, some processing that goes on with it for sure. Cool. And that's the show for the day. I'll post this one up on YouTube as well, just because there is readings done in it. I want to make sure people have access to their readings whenever possible. Thanks so much for hanging out for a little bit, guys. I'm going to get cleaned up and get ready to go clean somebody's house. And you guys all have a fantastic start to your weekend. I'm going to try and get on live tomorrow, but we've got the kidlets showing up tonight, and so it'll be tricky to see whether that actually plays out or not. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Wherever you're at, wherever you are, stay safe. If you ever need a private booking or private reading, I'm always available for those, so shoot me a message, let me know. 20 days until I leave, so if you are going to book something with me, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, you do not get to see me until after August 3rd. So, message me. Damn it. Please. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care. Stay well. Be safe. And goodbye for now.